A police force official who abused a youthful lady he met on responsibility was creature studied for sex offences up. He united the strength. How did he slide via the net? On the person of it, Ian Naude was an ideally police force applicant. A ex-car machine gunner in the King Irish Regiment, he told he requested to do a distinction at Cheshire Constabulary. The fact, his test was said, is how he united the strength to encounter sensitive youthful girls and include sex in them. The opportunities to halt him, yet, were down there. Up. He was taking into account in the speech of prosecutorial, this keys to the confectionery. Naude, 30, had been vetted in October 2016 and taking into account the all precise to accede as a undergraduate official in the new year. But while a complainer said Staffordshire Police Force in February 2017 she had been abused by Naude, and how he had attached to be a police officer, his recruiting was detained time the neighbouring strength studied. While no future activity was undertaken, the dad of one took up his stance in the April 7 months after, he had maintained, assaulted and abused a youthful lady. It was time detectives studied her concoction how Cheshire Police Force came to understand Naude had slipped via the net. As his hold came by study, it found it he had as well been mentioned as a suspicion to Staffordshire Police Force in January 2017 for sex operation in a kid. The identical monthly, the Western Mercia Strength as well acquired and statement he was constantly request a lady on public print to encounter him. Cheshire Police Force was not done aware of each censor since at the period, the forces weren't aware he was due to be an official. It was, yet, time on responsibility as a serving official in October 2017 how he met his sacrifice. He had been named to transactions in a national occurrence at her household, end up in her dormitory wherever she showed him her stomach key circle, the trial heard. After, he tracked her downward on Facebook and shipped her sex messages and images, request her to urge me dad. He declared it was fair rotate on. His sacrifice, meantime, said police force, same's not my dad so I don't aware why I'd do how. 3 days after, he refundable to the building, waited before her mom was of, and heard her downward a peaceful nation way, wherever he abused her. He said the trial his sacrifice, who he shot and photographed for the assault, seemed to be using he. His defense was how she gave agreement. In fact, the lady was injured and said her parents. In supplement to the sacrifice's expense, police force commanders found Naude had contacted girls via a counterfeit Facebook section he done to the end of his career in the troop, wherever he had serviced in Afghanistan. As 15-year-old Jake Verdant, he aimed family on the internet, persuading them to undress her and execute sex acts on chamber. In back, he would email them images and videos of oneself masturbating. Cheshire Police Force has acknowledged it skipped and prospect to place Naude's perverse behavior. He united the strength as nobody else would accede, via the choice processes, via the screen processes, via the domestic checking processes, told Operating Head Constabulary, Jeanette McCormick. Among fleeting such processes and connecting the strength, down there were offences he devoted that didn't go to lighting in how checking trial and how intended how he was involved during the strength as a undergraduate official. Down there were investigations, down there were particular issues in relationship to such investigations how were hard, down there were pseudonyms how were utilized how intended we didn't connection him to departure via the recruiting trial in the strength. He didn't accede to be a police force official, he united to be a carnivore. Ms. McCormick believes he acted one but added, I would be innocent to believe down there are not some human beings during the strength and how's why we include to be busy in looking at how behavior so we can origin it of. The freelance office space of police force hold told it studied Cheshire Police Force's checking of Naude and did not discover a instance to reply for offence for any person official. But the strength told the instance had done its length and difficult at its recruiting and screen trial. This domestic checking coding of experience state how down there is no period box as to while someone is vetted up connecting a police force strength, a declaration added. Yet, Cheshire Constabulary has now modified its checking processes. If down there is a latency in the recruiting trial of more than rather than 3 months, one day a man has been vetted, the strength will conduct out future checks on the domestic police force system. Moreover, checks on the domestic police force system and complaints accounting records of all commanders who are achieving the complete of their internship time of 2 years are now taken.